How was Dean Ambrose connected to CM Punk versus Seth Rollins on WWE Raw? The reference you may have missed. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Seth Rollins and CM Punk clashed in a high-stakes singles match in the main event of Raw's debut on Netflix this week. Both stars went on to display some of the best wrestling moves from their arsenal and delivered a stupendous bout. The match ended with the straight-edge superstar going over the former world heavyweight champion. Fans noticed a spot from the Rollins vs. Punk match that linked it with former WWE superstar and the Shield member Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley. During the closing sequence of the bout, Punk planted a GTS on Seth Rollins, leaving him out on his legs. The visionary tripped off the ropes and rebounded on Punk's shoulders. The former WWE champion took advantage of it and nailed another go-to-sleep on his opponent to clinch a historic win and close the show. However, an eagle-eyed fan posted a clip of CM Punk versus Jon Moxley from AEW in 2022, where the Second City Saint and the Purveyor of Violence performed the same sequence. Many believe that Punk and Seth Rollins together dropped a subtle tribute to Dean Ambrose by replicating the sequence from Punk and Moxley's AEW bout. That said, this is just a conjecture, as none of the stars involved has confirmed or reacted to the moment as of now. Raw's season premiere on Netflix was the perfect show. With a stupendous card featuring major stars, the Stamford-based promotion has raised expectations amongst the fans for this year's WrestleMania. Many believed CM Punk and Rollins would continue their feud against each other on the road to WrestleMania 41. However, some reports suggested Triple H and the WWE creative team are considering booking a match between Punk and Roman Reigns for the annual extravaganza in Las Vegas. However, the Angle report is speculative. It remains to be seen if CM Punk and Roman Reigns actually come across each other for a bout at WrestleMania 41. In WWE, storytelling and rivalries often extend beyond the immediate in-ring action, weaving intricate narratives that build off past events, backstage moments, and subtle details that may not always be obvious to casual viewers. One of the more compelling examples of this complex storytelling took place during the infamous CM Punk versus Seth Rollins rivalry, particularly on WWE Raw. While both of these talents have made their marks on the company in monumental ways, what many fans may have missed is the subtle yet important connection between Dean Ambrose, later known as Jon Moxley in AEW, and the aforementioned rivalry between Punk and Rollins. The connection wasn't simply a casual encounter or a coincidence of booking, but rather a nuanced piece of WWE's storytelling that interlaced the careers of all three performers in a way that elevated the stakes of their conflicts. To understand this connection, we first need to go back to 2014. At that time, CM Punk was one of WWE's biggest stars, with a dedicated fan base that followed his every move. Punk's wrestling style, often described as hard-hitting, cerebral, and grounded, helped to cement his place as a fan favorite. Meanwhile, Seth Rollins, a rising star in WWE, was coming into his own following his high-profile stint as part of the Shield alongside Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. Rollins, a talented high flyer with an immense work ethic, was set to go down a different path in WWE's landscape, which ultimately led to his rise as a singles competitor. The Shield, however, was the initial bond that brought Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns together, and it was their interactions that helped define much of the company's programming during the time. CM Punk, on the other hand, had his own relationship with the members of the Shield. As a figure who was known for his resilience and his ability to push back against the establishment, Punk conflicts with the trio often served as a focal point in WWE larger stories. Punk, having entered into feuds with major stars in the company, found himself at odds with Rollins and Ambrose, both of whom were seen as the future of the company. Ambrose, as part of the Shield, was an unpredictable and dangerous figure. Rollins, on the other hand, had a charisma that made him an ideal candidate to become the top star in WWE. Their eventual matches and subsequent conflicts helped shape the storylines that followed. As we move forward into the period of late 2014, CM Punk had already left the company under controversial circumstances. His sudden departure left a void, not just in WWE, but in the narratives that were being built for future shows. However, the seeds that Punk had planted during his time in WWE continued to bear fruit, and Rollins, who had recently turned on the Shield, became one of the central figures in WWE's plans moving forward. Seth Rollins won the Money in the Bank ladder match, which set the stage for his inevitable cash-in of the Money in the Bank briefcase. His cash-in came at WrestleMania 31, where he successfully became the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, dethroning Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. This victory solidified Rollins as one of WWE's top stars. However, his success didn't occur in a vacuum. Ambrose, who had been involved in a bitter rivalry with Rollins since the Shield's breakup, played a key role in Rollins' journey to the championship. The tension between Rollins and Ambrose was palpable, especially given their shared history in the Shield. This animosity between the two would serve as a crucial piece in the larger storytelling puzzle that would eventually tie Ambrose, Rollins, and Punk together. When looking back at the broader narrative surrounding Rollins' rise to prominence, the influence of CM Punk can be seen. Punk's departure from WWE set in motion a series of events that led to Rollins' character evolution. While Punk was gone from the company, his impact was still felt in the form of the edgier, rebellious style of wrestling that became associated with both Rollins and Ambrose. In many ways, Punk had helped pave the way for talents like Rollins to thrive in WWE, even if he wasn't present during their peak moments. Dean Ambrose's role in the equation is also critical to understanding the connection to Punk. Ambrose, a longtime friend of Rollins, had a complex relationship with him throughout their time in the Shield. After the Shield's breakup, Ambrose became a central figure in the rivalry with Rollins. Their battles for dominance on WWE Raw were intense, and it became clear that Ambrose was just as capable of carrying WWE's main event scene as Rollins. Ambrose's matches with Rollins throughout this period were fueled by personal animosity, and much of their conflict revolved around the themes of betrayal, loyalty, and the loss of trust, elements that were prevalent in the Punk versus Rollins narrative as well. The connection to CM Punk in all of this comes from the fact that Punk had always been a symbol of rebellion within WWE. He was the one who stood up against the system, and was often considered a voice for the voiceless. In many ways, Ambrose and Rollins inherited that mentality, with their character arcs reflecting a similar frustration with authority and the status quo. While Punk may not have been directly involved in the storyline, his influence loomed large over the events unfolding on WWE Raw during this period. It's also important to note that CM Punk's departure from WWE coincided with the rise of the Authority, led by Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. The Authority was a central storyline for many years in WWE, and Rollins played a pivotal role in representing them. Ambrose, by contrast, was a figure who rebelled against the Authority, much in the same way that Punk had during his own tenure in the company. This ideological clash between the Authority and the rebellious figures like Ambrose and Rollins helped to shape the ongoing narrative. In a broader sense, the Punk versus Rollins rivalry can be seen as a symbolic continuation of the themes that Punk had championed during his time in WWE. Rollins, the corporate-backed star, was positioned as the antithesis of the gritty, rebellious figure that Punk had represented. Ambrose's connection to Rollins only added to the layers of the story, as their shared history and complex relationship created a more personal dimension to their ongoing battles. Ultimately, the connection between Dean Ambrose, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins on WWE Raw is one that reflects the ongoing evolution of WWE's narrative structure. While Punk may have departed from the company in 2014, his legacy continued to influence the stories that unfolded in the years that followed. Ambrose and Rollins, both of whom were key players in the company's future, carried the torch that Punk had lit, incorporating elements of his rebellious spirit into their own characters. The rivalry between Ambrose and Rollins became an extension of the larger conflict between the rebellious underdogs and the establishment, with Punk's influence subtly woven into the fabric of their ongoing feud. This connection, though often overlooked, is a testament to the enduring impact of CM Punk's legacy on the WWE product. The reference that many fans may have missed is not just in the moments between Ambrose, Rollins, and Punk themselves, but in the way WWE weaved together these narratives to create a cohesive and long-lasting storyline that transcended the careers of each individual. It's a reminder that in the world of professional wrestling, everything is connected, and the most significant rivalries often have deeper roots than we realize. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updated news.